Everyone dreams, but very few are willing to bleed, sweat, and sacrifice to make those dreams real. This is not just another story about hope. It's about what happens when a young Jewish boy refuses to let poverty, rejection, or failure stop him. His name was David ben Eli. In the heart of Jerusalem's Old Quarter, where winding stone alleys echoed with ancient prayers and merchants' cries, lived David ben Eli. His family's apartment was small, barely lit by a single flickering lamp at night. David's father stitched garments in the back room, and his mother spent long days at the marketplace, hands rough and stained from sorting vegetables. There was never any excess, never any luxury. Yet within David, there pulsed an unyielding vision. He dreamed of becoming a scholar and an inventor, someone whose ideas could lift the burdens from the shoulders of his people. In a world where dreams are fragile and reality often harsh, David's aspirations seemed too bold, too unlikely. Friends would tease him as he sat hunched over borrowed books, the worn covers stained by the same earth and sweat that marked his family's daily life. Their laughter echoed in the narrow streets. "David, stop dreaming. You're too poor. Accept your fate." But David's reply was always quiet, unwavering. "God may give us dreams, but He won't do the work for us. If I want to see them come true, I must act." Every morning, David helped his mother haul baskets of cucumbers and tomatoes to the market. The air was thick with the scents of spices and fresh produce. When business slowed, David would perch himself beside the baskets, pulling out tattered books borrowed from the community library. While others played or gossiped, David immersed himself in mathematics, science, languages, anything that stretched the boundaries of his mind. He understood a truth that would guide him for life. Dreams don't knock on your door. You must chase them with relentless effort. At 18, his heart brimming with hope, David applied for a scholarship at a prestigious technical institute in Tel Aviv. He poured his soul into his application, believing that dedication would bridge the gap between his poverty and his dreams. But the admissions board saw only his circumstances. "You come from nothing," they said. "You have no sponsors, no connections." The rejection stung deeper than any insult. For the first time, David felt the weight of despair pressing heavily on his chest. Yet, on a sleepless night, he turned to the Torah and found comfort in a proverb. "The sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied." In those words, David found the strength to persist. "If a door closes, I must build my own." Dreams don't die when people reject you. They only die when you stop working for them. Denied entry to university, David refused to let the world dictate his worth. With his meager savings, he opened a tiny workshop in his family's cramped home. By day, he repaired locks and farm tools for neighbors, earning just enough to keep his household afloat. By night, he sketched blueprints under the dim glow of an oil lamp, his hands calloused and his eyes bloodshot from exhaustion. Little by little, invention after invention took shape. Simple tools to help farmers irrigate their fields, devices to reduce the heavy labor of daily life. Word spread about the skinny young man who was both mechanic and dreamer. David of the Dreams, they called him, sometimes in jest, sometimes in awe. People arrived from distant neighborhoods seeking his help, curious about the ideas that flourished in his humble workshop. For the first time, David glimpsed the power of persistence. The way effort, compounded daily, begins to attract opportunity. But just as hope seemed within reach, life's trials returned with brutal force. One evening, a stray spark from his oil lamp ignited a pile of wood shavings. In minutes, flames consumed the entire workshop. All his tools, notes, prototypes, years of effort reduced to ash. Neighbors gathered, some offering sympathy, others sneering. "See? Dreams are useless. If you had chosen business like everyone else, you'd be rich by now." David sat among the ruins, tears tracing lines through the soot on his face. But deep inside, he heard the echo of his own conviction. Dreams don't work unless you do. If you quit now, you betray yourself. From the ashes, David chose to rise. He took a job at a larger factory, swallowing his pride to work beneath men who once mocked him. By day, he labored with sweat pouring down his back, learning advanced techniques and saving every coin he could. By night, he returned to his small desk, designing new machines with what little energy remained. For 3 long years, he endured, working silently while the world slept around him. When David finally reopened his workshop, it was bigger, stronger, and better equipped. This time, his inventions made real impact. A wind-powered water pump to help families draw water from distant wells, efficient farming tools that transformed local agriculture, and affordable lamps that lit the homes of the poor. Word of his innovations spread beyond Jerusalem, reaching scholars and farmers throughout the region. Recognition came when David least expected it. An esteemed university in Europe learned of his work and invited him to present his designs. They awarded him a full scholarship, opening doors that had once seemed permanently shut. The same boy once rejected for being too poor now stood before hundreds of scholars, inventors, and students, his journey a testament to the power of resilience. On stage, David spoke from the heart. When I was young, people told me I shouldn't dream because I was poor. But I learned something powerful. Poverty cannot kill a dream. Only inaction can. You may have intelligence, you may have faith, but if you don't work for your dream, it remains nothing but an illusion. The hall erupted in thunderous applause, but David knew his real victory was not in accolades. It was in the relentless journey, the daily grind, the refusal to surrender. Years passed, and David became a respected inventor and teacher. Yet he never forgot the narrow streets of Jerusalem, the scent of the marketplace, the struggle of his family. He opened free classes for poor children, teaching them science, mechanics, and above all, resilience, the art of enduring hardship with hope. Every class began with the same words: "Dreams don't work unless you do." One curious boy asked him, "Master David, what is the secret to success?" David smiled gently and replied, "The secret is only 2 words: action. Every day, take one small step, even when no one notices. Sweat today, and tomorrow you will harvest a field of dreams." The life of David Ben Eli is more than a tale of success. It's a timeless truth etched into the soul of humanity. Dreams are seeds. But without the soil of hard work, the water of discipline, and the sunlight of persistence, they never bloom. So remember, wherever you are, whatever you face, dreams don't work unless you do. Let David's story light your path. When the world doubts you, when failure knocks you down, when the road ahead seems impossible, rise, act, endure. Plant your dream and tend it with relentless effort. Because in the end, it's not circumstance, luck, or fate that determines your destiny, but the courage to work day after day until your harvest comes.